Howdy! Please take your seats. I now call this meeting to order at 7:10 p.m. on October 30th, 2019. We'll begin with opening roll call.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Speaker Gillette.
Howdy, Senate.
Justice Chopra.
Howdy.
Speaker Mendoza.
Howdy.
Chair Berger.
Howdy.
Chair Harris.
Howdy.
Chair Rabioso.
Howdy.
Chair J.R. Rodriguez. Chair C. Rodriguez.
Howdy.
Chair Banks.
Howdy.
Chair McGill.
Howdy.
Chair Spur.
Howdy.
Chair Gupta.
Howdy.
Senator Ahmed.
Howdy.
Senator Aiken.
Howdy.
Senator Ali.
Howdy.
Senator Machado. Senator Anderson. Senator Cabrera. Senator Damian.
Howdy.
Senator Dang.
Howdy.
Senator Great. Senator DiMateros. Senator Dow. Senator Feldman.
Howdy.
Senator Flores. Senator Frank.
Howdy.
Senator Julia Garcia.
Howdy.
Senator William Garcia.
Howdy.
Senator Gay.
Howdy.
Senator Graham. Senator Hardison.
Howdy.
Senator Hutto. Senator Jeffries.
Howdy.
Senator Clayman.
Howdy.
Senator Claus. Senator Crowe. Senator Luttrell.
Howdy.
Senator Mandel.
Howdy.
Senator Rufo.
Howdy.
Senator Martin.
Howdy.
Senator McHugh.
Howdy.
Senator McQueen.
Howdy.
Senator Montez.
Howdy.
Senator Morgan. Senator Murphy. Senator Newman. Senator Viola. Senator Pauls.
Howdy.
Senator Tata. Pena. Senator Price.
Howdy.
Senator Ramirez.
Howdy.
Senator Mendez. Senator Rivera.
Howdy.
Senator Rowan. Senator Smith.
Howdy.
Senator Gunner Smith.
Howdy.
Hayden Smith. Senator Tran. Senator Trosclair.
Howdy.
Senator Finlayson.
Howdy.
Senator Ulick. Senator Walter. Senator Wood. Senator Hine.
Howdy.
Senator Nassus.
Howdy.
Senator Olag.
Howdy.
Senator Moan.
Howdy.
Okay, and now for the code, I have to read the names of those who have absence out.
Senator Poston.
I have to read the name of the people who absence out. Jet Black, on-campus caucus. Reagan Thompson, liberal arts. Lucino Babu, liberal arts. Brian Carlson, education. Brianna Wheeler, architecture. Christopher Glisman, engineering. Wes Fisher, Corps of Cadets. Amanda Clegg, off campus. Grant George, Corps of Cadets. Douglas Hanley, architecture. Baylor Landry, off campus. Reed McGill, education. Tyler Pett, engineering. And Jacob Ruggles, engineering.
Thank you, motion.
Senator Krogh, Base Caucus, I'm present.
Thank you. Noted. And with that, we'll now move into a period of invocation and pledges of allegiance led by Senator McHugh. If you all please rise.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
I'm going to be reflecting in a way that is most comfortable for me and my faith. I'm going to invite you to also reflect in a way that's comfortable for you and your faith. Dear Holy Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much that we can all come here tonight to work and to put in effort to do something that is great for the student body. Lord, I thank you that we all made it here safely, that we were able to brave the rain, that no one froze today, that everyone's alive. Lord, I thank you for all the many blessings that you've given us. I pray that you'd allow us to act as a unified body tonight, act as a body that is here for the betterment of the school and of the student body. And it's with all of these things that I pray in Jesus' name. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
With that, we'll move into a period of the reading of the mission statement and the Aggie Honor Code, led by our longest-serving senator, Senator Mandel. Baseball player.
The Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. And Aggie does not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do.
With that, we'll move into a period of the singing of the Spirit of Aggie.
Some may boast and proud of the school they think so grand, but there's a spirit in there. It's the spirit of Aggie land. The Aggies, the Aggies are true to each other. That's we got to fight. We got to fight for blue and white. Stay all day. Join us. Yeah, Texas A&M.
Please be seated. Well, now we'll get to a period of open forum. Starting by recognizing Chandler Trosclair on behalf of the Tamu College GOP.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So Texas A&M College Republicans will be hosting an evening with Jonah Goldberg and Representative Dan Crenshaw November 4th at Leonard Auditorium from 7 to 8 p.m. It's going to be a really exciting event. It's pretty cool to have two unique perspectives. This is partially sponsored by the National Review Institute, which is a derivative of the National Review magazine founded by William Buckley. So a super cool event. I encourage you all to come out. I've learned the most from people I disagree with. So even if you're not Dan Crenshaw's biggest fan or Jonah Goldberg's biggest fan, I still encourage you to come out. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for our presenter? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now recognize Sam Jeffress on behalf of himself.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Everyone, flu season is upon us. Get your flu shots.
I'm not sure if that's because of the costume or not, but do you have any questions for our presenter? Yes, Senator McHugh.
Senator McHugh, off-campus to off-campus. Where's the best place to get a flu shot? At Buell. Thank you.
Yes, Chairman Gill.
Chairman Gill, Student Services, what would you say to those who don't need a flu shot?
They're effective. If you get the flu, you'll be a shorter, less intense time being sick.
Commissioner Bola,
Go ahead.
if you have that person.
Not present.
Okay, thanks.
Any further? Yes, Senator Martin.
Senator Martin off campus, is it true that Target will pay you $5 to go get your flu shot?
I'm not aware of this, but it sounds like a great program.
Senator Murphy.
Senator Murphy, over our topic. If I'm not available like to get a flu shot on campus, is there anywhere else I can get one? Maybe off campus?
CVS, there's like reduced costs we got some.
Any further questions? Yes.
Pero la vida es patulogay. How many Go, not go.
How much or how many shots? How much? Is it free?
It's depending on place you go. It's either very cheap, like $5-10, or free. I think if you have insurance or not.
Any further questions? Yes, Chair Banks.
Sure, banks have been compared to state.
No.
Seeing no further questions, thank you.
What do vaccines cost?
And with that, we recognize Kale Setier on behalf of the Development Commission.
Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
So for those who know the pleasure of meeting, my name is Kale Studier. I'm the Development Commissioner here within SGA. I serve on Mikey's cabinet. I was asked to come speak, give an update by Sam actually, about what's going on in the Development Commission, fill you guys in a little bit. So first and foremost, I think I've talked about it here before, but the 100 Brick campaign is now complete, and we're moving on from that campaign as our main source of fundraising. There has been a lot of work to be done this year to kind of finalize that. People come back on campus, they see their brick, could be misspelled, it could be chipped or faded. So I've been working a lot to get that kind of completely finished, wrap a bow on it. But we're not selling anymore right now. We're just trying to get that completely pushed away to the side and move forward. One of the big things we're looking at doing to find that next campaign besides the brick campaign is we want to, and this is the very early stages, but we want to possibly host a concert at Reed Arena. A large scale, big name artist that typically does not come to College Station. We want to bring them to College Station, have a concert that's by the students, for the students. We are in the very early stage of that, as I said. Mikey and I met last week with the president of MSC Town Hall, who does events similar to that. Just we want to do it on a bigger scale. Brand new with SGA, brand new with Town Hall, and hopefully make some money off of it, but also bring to the student body, an event and an organization, or an event that typically come to College Station. Besides that, some things we're looking out for. We're going to be doing some social media pushes on our social media account just to help kind of boost that up. So all the Student Government Association pages, we'll be working with the communications team on that to kind of make that happen. But we might try to do a giveaway, gift basket or something like that with like a follow or retweet or whatever it may be for a chance to win a basket. And also we are partnering with the Gardens out on West Campus for this Sunday, November 3rd, from 2 to 4 p.m. SGA will have a table out there. We're going to have Mikey out there answering questions. This event is apparently a really cool place that have been out there, but the Gardens are going to host this fall festival that will be really designed to bring the community of College Station and Bryan to campus. It's a fall festival. There's going to be pumpkins. There's going to be all kinds of yard games and things like that. But it's an opportunity for us to get our message out to the community, but also have the community give advice and things that they'd like to see by this for the student government as well. So we're really excited about that. If you guys are free from Sunday 2 to 4, West Campus Gardens, we'd love to see you out there. That's all I have at this time. I really appreciate the time to come and speak to you guys. If you have any questions, go ask yours.
Any questions for our presenter? Yes. Chairman, go.
Do you have any ideas for picnic artists currently?
So that is going to come. I personally do. I think that there's a lot of names that I've come up with, but we have to figure out the price range and the budget as well. It depends on if we can get a corporate sponsor locked down, if we can get an outside donor put down, how much money would Town Hall be able to put up, and things like that. But it's also, I don't have an exact name for you today. I wish I did, but it's kind of a fine line, and we want to be able to sell out Reed Arena, and we want this event to be big enough for students to have pride in it and can say this is a really cool thing that's going to College Station, but also is financially responsible because at the end of the day we're trying to make the most money as possible. So.
Any further questions for our presenter? Seeing none, thank you.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
I recognize Virginia Krog on behalf of Data Sorority.
Howdy!
Howdy!
Hi guys, almost Halloween, so exciting. Okay, so I'm speaking tonight on behalf of my sorority, Kappa Alpha Theta, and our fall philanthropy event, Theta Fest, which is this coming Friday at 6, and it shouldn't end until 9ish. So basically, I'm selling tickets for that tonight. So $5. They're $5 tickets. And that'll look at you chewy fajitas, like all you can eat chewy fajitas, like it's the good stuff, guys. We're gonna have s'mores, hot chocolate, coffee, games, a raffle. It's gonna be tons of fun, and all the proceeds are gonna go to our local philanthropy, Scotty's House, which helps kids who come out of like abusive situations, like helps them with counseling and like moving forward with their lives. So if you're interested in buying a ticket, come like see me in the back. Venmo works, cash works, whatever works. Let's make this happen. Come get a ticket for Beta Fest this Friday at 6. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for our presenter? Seeing none, thank you. Will I recognize Josh Feldman on behalf of the Interfraternity Council?
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Hey guys, my name is Josh Feldman. I'm also an off-campus center for the Off-Campus Caucus. I'm also the student government director for IFC. We on November 14th, we are having the annual Core versus IFC softball game. Y'all should all come out. It's going to be at the old softball field. The first pitch starts at 7:30 and tailgate starts at 5:30. All proceeds for the game go to the Movember Foundation, and ticket sales will start online on Monday. I hope to see y'all out there.
Questions? Any questions for our presenter? Seeing none, thank you. And that now concludes our period of open forum. We will now move into a period of the approval of the 10/16/2019 minutes. Do I see any objections to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of passing the minutes as written, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We'll now move into a period of special presentation by the Student Affairs Fee Advisory Board. If the presenters would please come down to the room.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So my name is Christina Morrison, and I'm the chair of the Student Affairs Fee Advisory Board, and this is Kimberly. And we're going to be presenting to you guys about our recommendation and deliberation process this year. So, what is STAB, or the Student Affairs Fee Advisory Board? STAB is a 9-member board that's voted on by you guys, by GPSG, by Mikey's office, and then by myself. And we work to make budgetary allocation recommendations for the Student Affairs team. So we are one part in a many-part process of the budgetary recommendation process. So it starts when departments submit an ask and they say we need X, Y, and Z to make our department work. Those asks are then reviewed by the Student Affairs staff. It comes to us, we make recommendations, and then we present them to you, and then it gets hooked up to Dr. Q and the specialist. And so what is our recommendation deliberation process like? Well, we gathered student feedback this year. We got about 300 responses on our form for student feedback. And we take that, we act as liaisons for departments, and so every board member is assigned 2 to 3 departments that they liaison for. And we use all of that information to learn the most that we possibly can about what the students want what the students want, what the students think about offers, and what the departments want and need, and then we use that to vote on all of the asks. Once the asks are voted on, they're either approved with a 5-4 or above vote, or they're not approved, the recommendation with 4 or 5 or below, and then they're prioritized. So this year we had a little bit over $1 million in asks. Part of it being one-time funding and part of it being recurring. Recurring money is money that once it's put into place, it's funded every single year. One-time is a singular ask that's funded for 1 or 2 years. So this year we're going to talk about.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you the good news. So what we did recommend. So 9-0, so these were unanimous, but we recommended the student parent discount from the Becky Gates Children's Center, reclassification of an employee to program program coordinator 2 from disability resources, and then testing center operating costs from disability resources. These were one organized in priority order. I don't know if you guys want me to read those or if you'd rather take a moment and absorb them. Make note if you have any questions or concerns. All right, 7-2 priority order. Again, please absorb. Uh, 6-3. This one's a little brief. And then lastly, 5-4. So these three were for peer education stipends from multicultural services, an administrative associate for the MSc, and then for professional development funds for disability resources. These were a little bit more split than some of the previous ones, so there's some different views.
So now we're just going to breeze through the ones that we didn't recommend. As always, you're more than welcome to ask us questions at the end. So go and go ahead and read through them. Starting with the 4-5s, which this one's also pretty brief. It was the Afro-Latinx Festival. And then we also had 2 7s, 2 of those. And we had 09s. We didn't have any 1-8s. So if you hit the next slide, these are one-time funding requests. This is one-time money, one and done. We had 3 9-0s, which were operating costs for Veteran Resource and Support Center. We had the Qualtrics license for student life studies and the Risers for choral activities. We also had an 8-1 vote for student internships in the art gallery. And we had the last few that were 7-2 and 5-4. So we didn't have any that we didn't recommend at all in terms of one-time funding. So in total, we recommended a little over $500,000 in recurring money and a little over $160,000 in one-time funding. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you. We'll now begin a period of question and answers, starting with Chair McGill.
Chair McGill, Student Services. Over the slides, you're talking about the funding for the Veteran Children's Center and the student discount. I know currently that discount's only available for the first 75 that signed up. Do you know if that would change with the amount you recommended, or if it's
I think the goal is to expand it to as many families and students as possible. So I think it would definitely increase the amount of scholarships that are given out and increase the amount in terms of how much each scholarship is as well.
Any further questions for our presenters? Yes, Senator Ramirez.
How many students are found?
There's 9 students on the board.
Oh, I'm thinking about the dear child center. I think how many students are found?
I don't know how many students are parents.
I don't know the exact amount. I know that it's quite a few graduate students, less undergraduate students, which kind of is typical of most universities. But I know that I think we have hundreds of students that are on the wait list. So there's quite a few student parents, and they try and get as many students as they can.
So there's a very high demand for those services, but it's still unmet.
Any further questions for our SFAT presenters? Yes. Executive Director of Operations.
My question is what's the reasoning for the increase in recommendations for the one-time funds from what was requested to what you made?
Yeah, that's probably the single most common question that we ever get. So if you go back, I think one more slide, sorry, actually. Okay, so if you look at the student internships for the university art galleries, that was originally asked as a recurring money, but because we didn't know what those internships would look like and what the benefit was to the students, we recommended that it be funded for 2 years. They come back with more data, with experience, and then they ask for it for recurring money again if that's something that they think is valuable. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any further questions for our presenters? Seeing none, we thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
For clarification, do I see a motion? For clarification, we do not actually vote on the SFAD recommendations. We vote on the members themselves, and that will be next semester. So we did approve both Christina as well as her deputy. However, we don't actually approve these recommendations themselves. They are required to bring them to the Senate and also required to bring them to graduate professional student government and then up to the vice president's office. Just do I see a motion still? Yes.
Senator McHugh, off-campus caucus. I move to deviate from the agenda and present the nominee from the Core Values Ad Hoc Committee.
Saying 1 second, multiple seconds. All those in favor of deviating from the agenda to present the nominee for the Core Values Ad Hoc Committee this month, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. Please come down to the floor.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Senator McHugh, off-campus caucus. So as we said last week, the Core Values Ad Hoc Committee was formed. We had our first official meeting last Friday. Yeah, we're getting that up. That's okay. Perfect. So we had our first official meeting last Friday. We ended up having about, I think, 7-ish members. So we had a really good turnout. We talked about a lot of different things. We talked about vision for the committee. We talked about working with the exec committee, communications committee, to try to put these nominees out as far as we can and to really honor them. And so we worked hard. We put a lot of stuff into it. So with that, before I say anything else, if you're on the committee, can you stand up real quick? So with that being said, this month was integrity. And so what we were looking to do is to honor somebody who exudes integrity, who really just is a great example to hold up in front of the student body. And the reason why we chose to do that is because we've chosen a kind of tagline for our committee, a kind of call why we exist, why the committee's here. And that tagline we chose was in order to celebrate the bright spots of our past and build hope for our future in Abington. So that's what our committee is trying to do. We're trying to honor the bright spots of our past and build hope for the future, our future in Abington. And so with that in mind, we are really excited about the nominee that we've chosen. As per the code, as per the bill that we passed earlier in the semester, we do have to vote on that nominee now in front of the whole Senate. So that's why I'm up here to kind of tell you guys about him. So with that being said, our nominee for this month of October is Congressman Will Hurd. Perfect. So Congressman Will Hurd. A couple of quick things about Congressman Will Hurd. We're extremely excited about him because we think he exudes integrity really, really well. He's going to be a great example to hold up in front of the student body. A couple of things. So he has been a representative in Congress for the 23rd District of Texas. He's done that now for 4 terms. He served a term, took a term off, and then has served the past 3 terms as well. And so that's what he's done in Congress. But before that, he worked for the CIA for 9 years, and he put to use his computer science degree that he got here at A&M. Yeah, computer science. If there's anyone who knows computer science, I'm not smart enough for that, but I appreciate you guys. Yeah, he put that to use at the CIA. He traveled abroad a lot for the CIA, doing operations in multiple countries overseas. He speaks 3 different languages, which is really cool because he was undercover for those operations. And then beyond that, after he left the CIA, of course, he ran for the House of Representatives, won, and has been serving there for us. One of the really cool reasons why we picked him was because he's very bipartisan. He has chosen to go with what his constituents need, with what he believes, rather than necessarily what his party pressures him to do, and things like that. So we really appreciate that about him. He actually received a bipartisanship award along with Beto O'Rourke, and so that just goes to show, how bipartisan he is. And the reason why that's special is because that shows that he is full of integrity. He's not somebody who's going to cave to party pressures or donations from super PACs or things like that. but he's going to do what's right, and he's going to do what the people elected him to do. And so that's something that's really cool. He's also a student body president here at A&M back in his day. So Mikey may find some common ground there. But yeah, so he's just a great guy. He's integrity. That's our nomination. Not sure what the process looks like to have a vote. But I guess we do questions now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to do a period of question and answer first. Do I see any questions for our presenter? Sarah, man.
So Ahmed, on Campus Caucus, how do you guys plan on present, like if you get nominated, how do you guys present on giving the award?
Absolutely. So what we've done, I've contacted his office. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to come here anytime soon. But we are talking with him about potentially having somebody from his office stand in and receive the award. The way that our committee has decided to give these awards to people is we're working on some nice looking certificates. And we're going to frame those with nice frames from Hobby Lobby. Shout out to my mom's photography experience for that one. So we're gonna make it nice, we're gonna make it pretty, and then hopefully it's gonna be something that holds weight.
Chair Banks.
Chair Banks, so how are we working with the exec side of things to promote the nominee and for values in general?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to the communications committee meeting for exec on Sunday. I'm talking now with Parks and her committee about ways that we can put this in front of the student body, that we can get this out. And so we're really excited to put it in SGA newsletters, to put it in everything that the exec-com puts out in front of the student body. So we're going to be working really closely with them. I also want to reach out to the battalion and hopefully get an article in the battalion each month. And then we're just going to use as many of those platforms that we're able to take advantage of to get it as far widespread as possible to really honor our nominees.
Senator Pauls.
Senator Pauls off campus. So I was wondering, basically, like, I know we talked about this. There's someone who like has passed. How would you would you contact the family members, or how would that go?
Right. So obviously we haven't nominated anybody who has passed. So I think we'll probably end up crossing that bridge when we get there. I think the process that we probably use is like you just said, of contacting the family.
Thank you.
Senator Crow.
Senator Crow, Mace Caucus, do you have to be a former student to receive this award?
So as a committee, what we've decided is we have decided to tell people we're nominating people who are current or former students. We are also willing to accept people who aren't current or former students, but have had a drastic impact on Aggieland. The reason why we're not advertising that within allowing people to nominate them is because we want to avoid having people put up like rappers, just people who haven't had any contact with A&M or whatever it is, who are just big celebrities or whatever.
Follow.
Christian follow-up.
Go ahead.
How do you nominate someone?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually made a Google form that we're planning on putting out in the SGA newsletter and Ag Input, as well as a block email to the student body. The form, let me pull it here. So the form looks like this. You received it in an email from the speaker, I believe, at some point. We sent this out yet? I sent it out. Okay, perfect. So I sent it out. Excuse me, it's been a while. So you received this in an email. Basically, it's a form that lets you put your information as well as your nominees' information. The link, so the link will be good for anybody who's got an A&M email. So any student, current, former, who has access to an A&M email will be able to nominate.
With 2 minutes remaining, Senator Jeffers.
In the unlikely event that we reject a nominee, do you have backup ones, like backup nominees in place?
So we talked about 3 nominees. This is the one that our committee chose because we believe, one, that this is going to be a really great fit for the month of integrity, but also because nominating somebody who's a congressman really gives credence to this award and really says, hey, this is a special award. So that when, next month when we come and we do maybe a current ag or somebody who's not as well known, people know that this is a big award for them to be receiving. Does that answer your question?
Not really.
Right.
So if.
Please limit the back and forth.
Yeah.
Which I think. Which I think. With a minute and a half remaining, Chair Banks.
Chair Banks, academic affairs, what did the committee decide on, maybe the number of finalists you can go per month, or, maybe like this, if you just add liberties to, or does it have to be something you does?
Right, absolutely. So we decided that it could be anybody who's had an impact on the university, current or former ag. And so we.
Is there a motion?
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, it was just I wanted to present a question.
You're on the list. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so
Please continue.
Yeah. So we decided it could be anybody current or former. I'm forgetting the rest of your question. I want to make sure I answer it. Yes. So we decided that we weren't going to put a cap on how many people we could nominate for 1 month. So theoretically, if we wanted to, and next month, nominate 2 or 3 people to receive the award, because 2 or 3 people exemplify that core month's value, core value of the month.
30 seconds.
Then we'd be fine.
With 30 seconds remaining, Senator Crowe.
Senator Crowe, sorry, I'm just so enthusiastic about this. So just to ask another question, is it possible for when we say have an influence on Texas A&M to be have an influence on the students of Texas A&M?
To pause real quick, do I see a motion?
Chair Harris, Finance, move to extend the period of question and answer by 2 minutes.
Seeing multiple seconds, all those in favor of extending the period of question and answer by 2 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Please continue.
Right. We got your question.
Yes. So is it, when we say have an influence on Texas A&M, could that really mean at large have an influence on the students of Texas A&M?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your follow-up?
Briefly.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, well.
Which I can. Senator Jeffries. Thank you. Senator Crowe.
Oh, great. Senator Crowe, Mace Caucus. When is this nomination process closing?
So the nomination form is going to stay open all year, because the reason for that is because on the nomination form there is a checklist. So if you wanted to nominate somebody to be potentially this month, potentially February or May, you can nominate them for all 3 and you can consider them for all 3. Or if you wanted to nominate somebody for May now, you could go ahead and do that on the form as well. So the nomination never really closes, but we're continuing taking nominations.
Thank you.
Yes, with a minute remaining, Senator Pauls.
Senator Pauls off camera. I just have one question. This is what I want to understand. So have you already kind of the core values picked out for each one?
Yes, so the core values were outlined in a piece of legislation that we passed in the Senate body earlier in the semester. I'll go ahead and read them off. So October we have integrity, November we have leadership, January is excellence, February is loyalty, March is selfless service, and April is respect.
Okay. Thank you.
With 30 seconds remaining, do you have any further questions for our presenter? Seeing none, thank you. If you please step off the floor. The way this was written will just be a majority vote, and so we're going to go ahead and vote to confirm Congressman Will Hurd as our Integrity Month Award nominee. All those in favor of confirming the Congressman, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
That passes. That now concludes that period. We'll move into a period of special presentation by the National Panhellenic Council. Seeing as their president, Ruben Tillman, is currently ill, we'll be happy to reschedule with him. So that concludes that period of special presentation. Do I see a motion?
Is it possible for Senator Jeffries and Shane Caucus? Point of inquiry: can we
Please state your point.
Can we have the Astro game live stream put on the screen?
So I see a motion.
Seconds.
I see multiple seconds. Seeing as we can't split screen it, and I think everyone in here has their own laptops, they're able to look at the score in the game. I respectfully say no, but I commend you on asking.
Motion.
Do I see a motion? Yes, go ahead.
Senator Crowe, Mace Caucus.
Yes.
Could we maybe minimize that one and then put it on
Thank you. Well, I'll go ahead and answer. No, I'm sorry. I would appreciate, though, we can get through the agenda very fast, and we can go enjoy the game. All right, we'll now move to a period of old business, starting with SR 7216, recognition of Chancellor Sharp's electronic cigarette policy and the potential for health risk resolution. If the bill authors and sponsors will please come down to the floor. Resolution, excuse me. Call you 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Howdy.
So since last week, we met with the Student Services Committee and the Healthy Lifestyle Subcommittee to amend this resolution. So instead of focusing on the vaping itself, our primary focus is the education of the health risk that vaping brings, and also reaching out and showing resources that are available to those who are addicted and choose to quit. And I'm just going to go through a run through of the new rules. So, whereas one, on October 1st, 2019, Texas A&M University Chancellor John Sharp has banned smoking electronic cigarettes on all Texas A&M campuses, and the CDC has reported that it is aware of more than 800 cases of lung injury and 12 deaths have had a history of electronic cigarette product use, and Texas A&M student was hospitalized and spent days in the ICU. Wait, this is the...
Yes, it is.
Do you have a presentation, Jim? That was the Google Doc. Is that incorrect?
No, I sent it to you there.
Was the we just right. Was
Okay.
the one on the zip file correct? That went out to the Senate body. It was okay. Yeah. Let's try this one. Correct? Thank you. Go ahead.
So on January 1st, 2020, Texas A&M University plans to go entirely smoke, tobacco, and vape free, thus amending University Rule 34.599M1 on smoking and tobacco use. The use of smoking, chewing tobacco, electronic cigarettes, and other forms of tobacco are currently banned in buildings, eating areas, housing, and athletic facilities. And on October 1st, 2019, Texas A&M University Chancellor John Sharp directed the presidents of the 11 universities and the directors of the 8 state agencies within the Texas A&M University system to ban the use of e-cigarettes and vaping. And as of October 15th, 2019, the CDC and Prevention has reported that it is aware of more than 1,479 cases of lung injury and 33 deaths from electronic cigarettes, 76% of whom had a history of using THC and other non-FDA approved vaping products. Let it therefore be resolved that the 72nd session of the Student Senate recognizes Chancellor John Sharp's efforts to ban nicotine products within the Texas A&M system, and the Texas A&M Student Senate recognizes that Chancellor John Sharp's actions and efforts to reduce vaping on campus is an important step to protect students' health and well-being. And the Texas A&M and the Student Senate would like to emphasize the concerns of vaping set forth by public health experts. And the 72nd session of the Student Senate recognizes the following on-campus groups for nicotine cessation: Aggie Recovery Community, Office of the Dean of Student Life, Counseling and Psychological Services, and Student Health Services, among others. And
Thank you, guys. We'll now move into a period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for our presenters? Seeing none, thank you guys for step up before. With that, we'll now move into a period of debate. Do I see any debate against this resolution? Do I see a motion?
Yes. Senator Jane Campus Caucus. I move to add myself as well as other senators as sponsor for that resolution.
Do I seeing multiple seconds? All those in favor of adding a number of sponsors to this resolution, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. If you'd like to be added as a sponsor along, please raise your placard.
Director to operations, point of parliamentary inquiry.
Please state your point.
Can we have them use the new sponsorship form that's in the drive?
You can. Please, can I ask where that is in the drive?
Should be Senator Resources.
Okay.
You want to pull it up. Legislation, or yeah, go back. And then student senate.
Same. Okay.
And then go down to legislation sponsor forms.
Please follow Executive Director Gupta's directions. If you would please put it on there. The first 9, I believe, is the way it backwards reads equal 15. Be it time-stamped, will be the ones added to the resolution along with the senator that made the motion. So with that, again, it's time-stamped, and so that's how it will be presented on the website, and it was passed as is. Let's see the motion. Yes, please take your
If
point.
someone was recently removed from sentence due to absences, would they be removed from this because they're added to what was voted on as a sponsor? So there be spot for someone that is still a member?
I believe that is up to them. As of now, the answer is no, because a normal student can also be a sponsor of a resolution. So no.
So then should we take out the caucus?
Considering, yes, we'll take the caucus off, but they will be left on.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. So with that, Senator Dan, you still have the floor in debate against. Okay, the floor has been yielded to. With that, we'll now move into a period of debate for this resolution. Do I see any debate for? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. That concludes the period of debate. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SR 7216, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. We'll now move into the second reading of SB 7205, proposed legislation proofreading bill. If the authors and sponsors will please come down to the floor. Take 2 minutes, Tony. How do you?
Chair Berger, Rules and Regulations. Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Once again, this act, which we still will entertain a motion during debate for this to be committed to an act. But this act is to say, whereas many bills are proposed each year to alter the Student Government Association Code, and whereas oftentimes these bill authors overlook the proper formatting of amendments of this nature, and whereas these unintentional mistakes make code revisions very difficult and can lead to a lack of proper understanding from the Rules and Regulations Chair when inputting amendments into the Student Government Association Code. Therefore, let it be enacted that Title III, Chapter 1A, Article 6, Section 5 of the Student Government Association Code be amended by inserting the following words between subsections F and G. All legislation which could potentially alter or modify the code in any way must be sent to the Rules and Regulations Chair for proofreading prior to its first reading on the Senate floor. The Rules and Regulations Chair will not have the ability to modify the content of the bill. And let it be further enacted that a copy of this bill be sent to Evan Berger, Rules and Regulations Chair.
Thank you. We'll now move into a period of question and answer. Do I see? Yes, Senator Martin.
Senator Martin off campus. Is it true that this would end the ability for senators to have open session bills?
No, because another amendment that we're going to entertain during debate is that this be changed from before first reading to before second reading.
It's Chair Banks.
Chair Banks, I can compare. So just out of curiosity, why weren't those combined into one bill?
Why was permission to?
Go ahead.
Why was what not combined into one bill?
So you said you're going to introduce another bill that, will be possible.
We're gonna amend this. Yeah.
Do I see any further questions for Chair Berger? Seeing none, thank you. And with that, we'll now move into a period of debate, starting with debate against. Yes, Executive Chair Harris.
Chair Harris, Finance, I have a minute.
Please state your amendment.
I move to amend the bill by striking in the title of bill, to changing it to an act.
Okay. Anything further?
Strike the word first and then so let's say.
Also to amend it by striking out the word first in inserting the word second.
Thank you. Seeing multiple seconds. All those in favor of adding the word act instead of bill and replacing any first reading verbiage with second reading, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair Harris, you still have the floor in debate against.
I yield my time to the floor.
Thank you. The floor has been yielded to, and with that, we'll move into a period of debate for. Any debate for this bill? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. The period of debate has now closed. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SB 7205, the proposed legislation proofreading bill, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. With that, we'll now move into the second reading of SB 7206, the Senator Sponsorship Reform Act. If the bill authors and sponsors would please come down to the floor. We have 10 minutes starting ahead.
Okay, howdy Senate.
Howdy.
All right, just reading through this bill real quick. I don't think we've changed anything, but the demand for sponsoring legislation as presented in the Texas student and has increased due to the frequency of bills and resolutions that are of importance to many senators. And whereas two, according to Article 6, legislation section 5C of the Student Government Association Code currently reads, C, the total number of authors and sponsors on any piece of legislation shall not exceed 15. If desired, a petition including names, signatures, titles, and demographic information of additional supporters who are students may be attached to any piece of legislation. And whereas 3, we have ignored this in the past due to the vague wording in the statute. Therefore, let it be enacted. 1, student senators are encouraged to sponsor legislation that they exhibit passion for. And 2, let it therefore be enacted. 2, Article 6, legislation section 5C be amended to read C. The number of authors and sponsors on the title page of any piece of legislation shall not exceed 10. If desired, an addendum of additional sponsors may be attached to any piece of legislation. Such an addendum may also include the signatures of the legislative sponsors, should that be desired by the sponsor. And therefore, let it be enacted. 3, legislation section 5B. D, legislative authors will have speaking privileges for the entire consideration of the bill, but only senators may participate in periods of debate. The legislative authors will also retain the privilege to set which sponsors are included on the title page, so long as they set those individuals before the legislation is passed. Sponsors added by an amendment must be added in the order in which their request to the sponsor is received by the chair. And therefore, let it be enacted. 4, an addendum page be added as the final page of the bill and resolution templates, and therefore let it be enacted. 5, that a copy of this bill be sent to Evan Berger, Rules and Regulations Chair, and Connor Holt, Speaker Pro Tem.
Thank you. With that, we'll now move into a period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for our presenters? Seeing none, thank you guys. Please step off the floor. We'll now move into a period of debate, beginning with debate against. Is there any debate against this bill? Seeing none, debate is one-sided, and that period of debate has now closed. With that, move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SB 7206, the Senator Sponsorship Reform Act, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
That passes. That now concludes our period of old business, and with that, we'll move into a period of new business, starting with SB 7207, the implementation of a fall break bill. If SVP Gillette will please come down to the floor. Howdy. Howdy. So this piece is something that we've been talking about for a little while, as well as SGA, the student body, and the university for years now. So as it's written, and as we'll kind of run through in a minute, we are one of the 5 SEC schools that do not have a fall break. 9 of the 14 do. They're listed as written there, and we feel that it's time that we join that crowd. And so do the faculty senate and the provost, as well as different administrators on this campus. And so we don't see this as much of an issue. We're going to try and push for it to be on the fall 2020 academic calendar. That's a stretch, we get it. But in the future, we don't see it not being on the fall academic calendars. And it's something that we also are looking to help market with different stakeholders on campus for students.
There's a lot of gunpowder kind of already behind this bill, with a lot of people already talking about it. So, or not this bill, but this idea with other stakeholders across campus. So if we really are able to get this through and get this going, I think a lot of traction will happen with it going forward.
Yeah. So briefly before I read it for you guys, a big piece that is important is obviously we feel that students should be for this and will be for this. That's not an issue we see, but just helping communicate it to different people on this campus. And one is definitely Yale. We spoke to Peggy earlier today, and they're very eager to help us promote this. I think Fish Camp also was. We spoke with them. So there's different people on this campus. So you guys are obviously play a part in that. But saying that, we'll go ahead and read through it. And so where the Southeastern Conference has 14 universities, 9 of whom have a fall break in their fall academic calendars. The 9 peer universities with fall breaks are the University of Arkansas, Auburn University, University of Georgia, University of Kentucky, Louisiana State University, Mississippi State University, University of South Carolina, University of Tennessee, and Vanderbilt University. Texas A&M University's fall academic calendar is 16 weeks long with no holidays included other than Thanksgiving break and the reading days associated with examinations, making the total number of holidays in the fall semester 2. But please scroll down. And the Texas A&M University spring academic calendar is 17 weeks long with 1 holiday other than spring break and the reading days associated with examinations, making the total number of holidays in the spring semester 6. Having a fall break as the Texas A&M University's fall academic calendar would give students the ability to rest and focus on their mental health after recent midterms, and therefore let it be enacted. 1, that the Texas A&M University Student Government Association requests that the office of the registrar, along with the office of the provost, add a fall break to the fall 2020 academic calendar that does not conflict or affect the current Thanksgiving break. And for the convenience of Texas A&M University staff and faculty, the Texas A&M University Student Government Association requests that the new fall break be scheduled in the month of October in alignment with local school districts' holidays. Please scroll down. And the Texas A&M University Student Government Association looks forward to working with the Office of the President, Provost, and Registrar to implement a fall break and finally have it sent to these people. Anything else? Awesome. And this is just first reading again. So with that, we'll open it up to questions, if any.
Yeah, are there any questions for the presenter? Chair Spur.
Chair Spur, Constituency Affairs. So I know you said in the bill that this wouldn't affect Thanksgiving break, but would this make our semester any longer, or would it actually give us less days for school classes?
Yeah. So there's a certain amount of days by the state that we have to be in school. So we would have to add a day here or add a day there. I think there's a couple of ways that you can do that, but yes, we would have to add those 2 days or 3 days, however long it be in somewhere.
Yeah. An interesting piece on that is something we're considering going forward with is the possibility of having a Thursday, Friday be the first days of classes instead of the Monday of Hattie Week. It also might help with people going to Howdy Week. We've seen decreased involvement with Howdy Week, so that could be something else to look at. But yeah, so that's you.
You get those 2 syllabus days on that Thursday and Friday out of the way, and it's just not professional.
Yeah.
Have y'all looked into the research of like what it would be like included in the Friday, like how it would benefit or not benefit students, like this kind of thing?
Yeah, I think we touched on it just now. I think it would help both with Howdy Week. People often don't come because they're with their family, but if they have to have class on Thursday, they'll at least come to the Wednesday or the Tuesday. So that could really help with involvement and retention with freshmen especially. But also, like Mikey just said, the syllabus piece, you could really hit the ground running on that Monday, and teachers and professors could really get you guys started on actual content rather than just waste the whole week with the excuse that the syllabus week. And so that could help.
Senator McHugh.
Senator McHugh, Off-Campus Caucus. Y'all mentioned that students are in support of this, that different organizations are in support of this. I was just wondering if any polling has been conducted to confirm that, or if any consensus has been found through actual data.
Yeah. So other than that, no, polling has not been done. We truly don't feel that it needs to be done. And if you guys feel differently, please let us know. But I haven't talked to anyone that wouldn't be against it so long as it doesn't, as I mentioned, affect Thanksgiving break or affect different start dates too much. But a big piece with this is that, the timeline on this piece. So again, we don't see the issue of implementing it far into the future for 2021 specifically, but we wanted to make sure that we could do this on a timeline that we could just attempt to have it on the fall 2020 calendar. So no, but
Senator Mendoza and I also attend a student leader dinner, and this was mentioned there, and the feedback was very positive. So 23 of your, flagship student leaders on campus were very much excited about it.
And I gave them the specific build, so they didn't have any edits, but thanks.
Senator Pauls. Or Hoffman, I'm sorry. I don't know why. My bad.
Zachman, on-campus caucus. So you mentioned how like other SEC schools do have this break. Is their break also in October, or is it like attached to the Thanksgiving?
Yeah, no, so no one has it attached to Thanksgiving. The majority of it is, I'm getting the dates right, October 27th, 28th this year. A few people have October 11th and 12th, or 10th and 11th. But it's usually 2 days. Only one at the University of Georgia has a single Friday. Everyone else has 2 days. Some have it Friday and Monday, most have it Thursday, Friday. But it's all in October of the 9 that have it, and it doesn't affect their Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, quick.
So the break will only just be 2 days or the other week?
Right. So it'd just be a long weekend.
Yeah.
Alright.
Which is why it's also easier to not affect the start date too much, for the different days you have to make up, like Chair Spur mentioned.
Chair Banks.
Chair Banks, so is staying late, later in December part of the conversation as well? Or
I think it's fair to say everything is part of the conversation as long as it's a possibility. It'd only be basically 2 days, either way you look at it. But I think we can both agree that we prefer not to have that be.
Yes, exactly. So we're definitely pushing for the earlier thing that we mentioned.
Senator Aiken.
Senator Aiken, Off-Campus Caucus. Have you discussed this with any faculty members, and where are they for that?
Yeah, so we have. It's a piece that actually faculty is already willing to engage with. So specifically the Office of the Provost and the President's Office trying to get on par with other institutions, some of which they came from. But also we meet the faculty speaker regularly and something to throw up to him and make sure this wasn't something that could be a point of contention for our Senate and their Senate. And that's why we also included a piece that hopefully it's in alignment with local ISD school calendars. Something that the faculty Senate wants and faculty and staff is the ability to not have to hire babysitters if we have these holidays, and so that hopefully help out possibly putting in Labor Day or winter holidays that we don't currently have this semester.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chair Harris.
Chair Harris, Finance. So when you're talking about the syllabus, like 2 syllabus days, just to clarify, were you talking about taking, like, still starting on the same Monday that we always do, but just the week before that, adding those 2 days in there?
So we would start, so you have Howdy Week, and then we start that Monday, the week after Howdy Week. We would actually have a Thursday and Friday during Howdy Week.
Okay.
Class.
Just clarify. Thank you.
Chair McGill. Senator McHugh.
Senator McHugh, Off-Campus Caucus. Seeing as I'm the 12th man, I have to ask, will this affect the fall football schedule in any way?
I sure hope not. No, of course not. That would be a lot.
Awesome, seeing no more questions. Okay, send back up, I don't know what else to do.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. There you go. And with that, seeing it as the first reading, I will send this bill to the Legislative Affairs Committee. We'll now move into the reading of SR 7220, the welcoming of the Office of Student Success Resolution. If the authors and sponsors would please come down to the floor.
Julie Garcia, off-campus caucus, howdy Senate.
Howdy.
Okay, so there is a new office on campus, and it's called the Office for Student Success. One of their main goals is basically to increase retention rates, have better four-year graduation rates, and help first-generation students and first-year students assimilate to campus a little bit better. And so I created the welcoming of the Office for Student Success resolution. Whereas one, the Office for Student Success was created in 2019 with the main goal of increasing retention and graduation rates and decreasing achievement disparities, and the Office for Student Success provides resources including but not limited to academic advising, a help desk form on its website, and other support for Aggies to be successful during their time at Texas A&M University. And the Office for Student Success aims to implement campus-wide programming courses for incoming freshmen. Therefore, let it be resolved, one, that the 72nd session of the Student Senate encourages students who are struggling academically to seek help from available resources on campus, and that the Student Senate recognizes the importance of programming for first-generation and first-year students, and the 72nd session of the Student Senate welcomes the Office for Student Success to the university and appreciates many of the steps it has taken, including its online help desk and steps towards standardizing academic advising at the university.
Yeah. So myself and Sven, my executive counterpart, have both been working with the Student Success Office of Student Success pretty significant, especially Sven. He's got several projects going on with them. I think he just had a meeting with the director on Friday. So they're actively engaging with us and working on different initiatives that we're also invested in. Their main, one of their main things they're pushing right now is, hey, we exist. I want to make sure that everyone knows about the resources that they provide, which there are some really nice resources. The graduation help desk in particular is going to be a really great tool for people who are just kind of up in the air about, how do I get from now to the graduation point. So, yeah, this is a good deal to do in CPR.
Awesome. That's good. With that, we'll move into a period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for our presenters? Seeing none, thank you guys. Please step off the floor. And with that, we'll move into a period of debate, starting with debate against. Is there any debate against this resolution? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. The period of debate has now closed. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SR 7220, welcoming of the Office of Student Success Resolution, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. And we'll now move into the reading of SR 7221, October Senate Event Resolution. If the authors and sponsors will please come down to the floor. Sorry.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
This resolution, we basically wrote to say thank you to the libraries for hosting a private viewing for us. I know there were a few of us that were able to attend along with some executive cabinet members. For those of us that were there, I think I can speak for everybody. It was fantastic. We got to look at some artifacts that were older than Jesus. That was my personal favorite. There was like a receipt for a sheep, was it? On a rock. On a rock. Yeah, that was super cool from Mesopotamia. Anyways, so basically this resolution, like we went through, just to send this to the libraries systems, just to say thank you. So it basically says that
The Student Senate was invited to privately view the traditions exhibit in the Cushing Memorial Library and Archives. During this time, they showed us the traditions exhibit, artifacts dating back to 2300 BC, and a presentation on all the items and artifacts in the library. So therefore, let it be resolved that the 72nd session of the Texas A&M Student Senate offers their sincere gratitude to the library system for their gracious offer for private viewing of the traditions exhibit and their and that we would like to continue to foster a relationship with the library. And then the people that are on the list to be have a copy of the resolution sent to you are all of the people that kind of helped us get this private viewing of the libraries. And with that, I welcome the questions.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll now move into a period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for our presenters? Yes, Senator Murphy.
Senator Protocol Lower Arts Caucus, will you read the Senate resolution number?
7221.
Thank you.
After that, do I see any further questions for our presenters? Seeing none, thank you guys. We're pleased to have off the floor. And with that, we'll now move into a period of debate, starting with debate against. Do I see any debate against this resolution? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. The period of debate has now closed. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SR 7221, October Senate Event Resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. That now concludes our period of new business. We'll now move into a period of open session. Do I have any pieces of legislation for open session? Yes, Senator Martin.
I have a resolution.
Please state the title.
Support of on-campus STI testing resolution.
Seeing multiple seconds, if the bill authors and sponsors will please come down to the floor. Send that to us.
Should be in the open session. Everyone has edit access to the open session.
You have 10 minutes starting.
Howdy, Senate. Howdy. Okay, so this is the support of on-campus STI testing resolution. So recently a new report came out from the CDC just about STI rates, especially amongst young people like us. So just kind of reading it. The CDC has released a new report that the rates of chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis have climbed for the fourth year in a row, reaching another record high. A 19% increase in chlamydia, 63 in gonorrhea, and 71 in syphilis since 2014. The 20 to 24-year-old age group continues to have the highest STI rate, whereas while the use of a latex condom is generally effective at stopping sexually transmitted infections, they are not able to prevent all types of STIs. And whereas half of all sexually active people will get an STI by the time they are 25, many infections do not show symptoms and can go undetected for many years. And whereas 5 cases of super gonorrhea, strains which do not respond to traditional treatments, are becoming increasingly common and very difficult to treat. Therefore, let it be resolved. 1, the Texas A&M Student Senate appreciates student health services and all they do to improve the health of our students. Let it be further resolved. 2, students are encouraged to take part in the final free STI testing day of the semester on November 6, 2019, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Bugle Room 027. And let it further be resolved. 3, students are encouraged to spread the word to your fellow Aggies to help enhance our students' well-being, and let it be further resolved. 4, a copy of this resolution be sent to the Director of Student Health Services and Health. So this resolution is just kind of saying, like, STIs is a growing issue. We do have one last free testing day on campus until the spring. So like 1 in 4 college students have an STI and don't know it. So even in this room, that means like there's a lot of us who in theory could have. Even if you're not showing symptoms, they could be wreaking havoc on your reproductive organs. So just if you can, get tested.
Awesome. And with that, we'll move into a period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for our presenters? Yes, Senator Jeffers.
Senator Jefferson, Junior Caucus. Are you aware that the first Wednesday of every month, they have free STI testing at Bugle?
That's what this is for. Yeah. On November 6th.
This Wednesday.
Yeah, it's on Wednesday, but there's none in December, so that's why.
First Wednesday, everyone.
Do I see any further questions for our presenters? Seeing none, thank you guys. We'll now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against this resolution? Do I see a motion? Debate against?
Chair of Middle Student Services, I'd like to add myself and anyone else interested as a sponsor.
Okay. Seeing multiple seconds. All those in favor of adding Chair McGill, as well as anyone else who submits the online form timestamp first, do I see a motion?
Senator Butterfield, the Arts Caucus point of inquiry.
Please take your
If
point.
we're gonna fill out that legal, form, do we just put 72 dash, never mind, it has a number now, it has XX before.
Yes, 72-22. So, thank you for that. Moving back to the motion, all those in favor of adding Chair McGill, as well as everyone else timestamp first, as sponsors to this piece of legislation, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair McGill, you still have the floor.
If motion was called, do I still have to do
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, but you're guaranteed on.
Okay.
So, Chair McGill, you still have the floor in debate against.
I yield my time.
Okay, the floor has been yielded to. Do I see a motion?
Yeah, I have a point of parliamentary inquiry.
Please state your point.
Martin off campus. Is it true that we just passed a bill that said that anybody can sponsor unlimitedly?
Yes, it is.
So there is no limit anymore, correct?
Thank you for that. So please go through the same process. However, there is no limit, so timestamps don't matter. However, you still will go through the form on the Center of Resources tab. Thank you, Senator Martin. And with that, we are now going to a period of debate 4 of this resolution. Do I see any debate 4? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. The period of debate has now closed. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SR 7222, support of on-campus STI testing resolution, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. Do I see any further pieces of legislation for open session? Yes, Senator Feldman.
It is the.
Please rise and state your name and caucus.
Senator Feldman, off-campus caucus, the Dallas Tornadoes resolution.
Okay. Seeing multiple seconds. If the author and sponsor would please like to come down to the floor. Did you send it in?
I just, yeah.
To the email?
Yeah, it was just like an agreement.
Oh. You have 2 minutes starting meeting.
Is this what you wanted? Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
All right, my name is Josh Feldman, Senator from the Off-Campus Caucus, and I have to present the Dallas Tornadoes resolution. It's essentially expressing support to the students and their families affected by the Dallas tornadoes. On October 20th, a storm system traveled into the Dallas-Fort Worth area and produced multiple tornadoes. It dealt a huge blow to the Dallas community and families living there, some of whom may be Aggies. Many residents were left without power, running water. Many homes and businesses were damaged and destroyed. I have family there, I live there, and it's pretty bad. The city of Dallas is currently evaluating the damage, but in the meantime, many residents, they're struggling to recover from the storms. A lot of people are homeless. And the Texas, so therefore let it be resolved that the Texas A&M Student Senate offers their deepest sympathies to those impacted by the events of the 20th tornadoes. And therefore, let it be resolved that the Texas A&M Student Senate encourages any impacted students who require assistance to reach out to the university staff, including but not limited to student counseling services, Office of the Dean and Student Life, resident advisors, academic advisors, or peer mentors.
Perfect. We'll now move into a period of question and answer. Do I see any questions for our presenters? Seeing none, thank you guys. Please step off the floor. And with that, we'll move into a period of debate, starting with debate against. Do you have any debate against this resolution? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. The period of debate has now closed. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SR 7223, the Dallas Tornadoes resolution, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. Do I have any further pieces of legislation for open session? Yes, Sarah. Yes, please state your point.
This is not legislation, but we saw the announcements. I know they were for
Can't do that in open session. You could potentially make a motion to deviate, or I could be entertained if you want to text myself, and I could update on anything you would like. But at this point, we can't do them now.
Okay.
Yes. Do you have any further pieces of legislation for open session?
Walter.
Yes.
Chairman Gill, Student Services. Is it true that anyone has questions and you can whisper in my ear? I will announce it as my committee update.
That's true. Yes. Okay, one more time. Do you have any further pieces of legislation for open session? Seeing none, that concludes the period of open session. We'll now move into a period of community. Do I see a motion?
Executive Director, Gusta Operations. I move to deviate from the agenda and put committee and executive reports in an email and move into a period of postponement.
Seeing multiple seconds, I presume because of the Stros game. All those in favor of deviating from the agenda to make all committee reports as well as executive reports into an email, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. All right, and with that, we will now move into a period of closing roll call. Senator Gupta, you might be the most popular guy here tonight.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Howdy, Will. That's Pete Gillette.
Howdy, Senate. Go Stros.
Justice Chopra.
Howdy.
Steve Mendoza.
Howdy.
Joe Berger.
Howdy.
Joe Harris.
Howdy.
Joe Ramioso.
Howdy.
Joe J.R. Rodriguez. Steve Rodriguez.
Howdy.
Joe Banks.
Howdy.
Joe McGill.
Howdy.
Joe Spur.
Howdy.
Joe Gupta. Howdy. Senator Ahmed.
Howdy.
Senator Aiken.
Howdy.
Senator Ali.
Howdy.
Senator Anchada. Senator Anchada. Senator Anderson. Senator Cabrera. Senator Damian. Howdy. Senator Dang. Howdy. Senator Gray.
Senator Holt, I interrupt you 1 second. Before everyone leaves, we'll get a picture. So after closing roll call, please come down to the floor. Continue, please.
Senator Gray. Senator Dean Harris. Senator Dow. Senator Feldman. Howdy. Senator Flores. Senator Frank.
Howdy.
Senator Julia Garcia. Senator William Garcia.
Howdy.
Senator Gay.
Howdy.
Senator Graham. Senator Hardison.
Howdy.
Senator Hutto. Senator Jeffries.
Howdy.
Senator Clayman.
Howdy.
Senator Maz. Senator Crowe. Senator Luttrell.
Howdy.
Senator Mandel. Senator Marufo.
Howdy.
Senator Martin.
Howdy.
Senator McHugh. Howdy. Senator Queen. Howdy. Senator Montez.
Howdy.
Senator Morgan. Senator Murphy. Senator Newman. Senator Viola. Senator Pauls.
Howdy.
Senator Peta. Senator Pena. Senator Price.
Howdy.
Senator Ramirez.
Howdy.
Senator Resendez. Senator Rivera.
Howdy.
Senator Rowan. Senator Hayden Smith. Senator Gunnar Smith.
Howdy.
Senator Tran. Senator Trostclair.
Howdy.
Senator Tumlinson. Howdy. Rulick. Senator Walter. Senator Wood. Howdy. Senator Heim.
Howdy.
Senator Massis.
Howdy.
Senator Oldag.
Howdy.
Senator Ramon.
Howdy.
Thanks.
You guys want to come down for a quick picture?